Okay, so in this question, we're given this shape here, which is a collection of triangles, and it's also a sector of a circle, all mixed together. We've got a right-angled triangle here, and we've got a scalene triangle here with the given sides. And this right-angled triangle, we only know one side, and we're given this angle here of this sector, which is 1.4 radians. So, first of all, question, find area of BDE, then find angle DBC, and then the total area of the whole thing. So the area of BDE, that's BDE, so that's the sector here. Then the angle DBC, that's this angle here, and then obviously the total area. So as we work out each part, that will then help us to find the total area. So let's crack on and find area BDE. So BDE. So this is a sector of a circle. So sector of a circle looking something like this. Centre point, 5 centimetres for the radius. Each one of those is 5. And the angle is 1.4 in radians. So let's just write that in. Okay, area of a sector is half times radius squared times the angle in radians. So that will then give us a half times 5 squared times the angle in radians, which is 1.4. Okay, so multiply that out, 25 times 1.4 divided by 2, that's going to give us 17.5, and that's in centimetres squared. All these are in centimetres. So that's our first answer, 17.5 centimetres squared. Let's write that in this bit here. Okay, that takes care of the first bit. Next bit, angle DBC. DBC. So that's this one here. So we've got a scalene triangle. We don't know any of the other angles, but we know all the sides. So that's going to be cosine theorem. So cosine theorem is written down in here. So b squared equals c squared plus d squared, and then minus 2cd cosine b. Okay, that's the formula. Now what we want to do is work out what each one of those bits is. So b, that's the side b opposite the angle, that goes there. C is opposite angle C, and D is opposite angle D. So B is 6.1, C is 5, D is 7.5, and then we can use these values here now, 5, 7.5, and then cosine B, which we don't know. Okay, right, so if we isolate cosine B on its own, we end up with cosine of B equals 5 squared plus 7.5 squared minus 6.1 squared all over 2 times 5 times 7.5. Okay, let's work this out. It's 5 squared, 25. 7.5 squared is 56.25. And 6.1 squared is 37.21. And then we divide all this by 2 times 5, which is 10, times 7.5, which is 75. So therefore B equals inverse cosine of all of that. So we get 25 plus 56.25, which is 81.25. And 81.25 minus 37.21, 81 minus 37 is 44.04 over 75. So let's plug that in our calculator, and we get our angle is 0.9432. So we can write that in here now, 0.943. We'll just leave the 2 out, that's fine. 0.943. Okay, so that's the second part. Now we need to find total area. So now we know this angle, we can use total area formula for this. So what we can say is this one, so let's say BCD, triangle BCD, so area of that, we'll have 7.5 times 5 times sine of 0.9432. Okay, so plug that into our calculator, we get 15.177. Okay, so that would also be approximately in centimetres squared. So 15.177 centimetres squared. Okay, so that's that one and that one. So now we've got this one. Well, we don't know this angle of this one here, but as this will total 180 degrees, or pi, as we're working in radians, the angle ABE, so angle ABE, okay, just write it like that with sign there for angle, is pi minus this one and this one, so 1.4 minus 0.943. Okay, so that takes care of that angle. So let's just plug that into the calculator and see what we get. So we get shift pi minus 1.4 minus 0.943. That gives us 0.79 839. Okay, so that angle there we know is 0.798. Okay, so as we know this angle, and it's a right angled triangle, if we know the length of this side and this side, we can multiply them together and divide by 2. So our formula for ABE, so ABE, so that's a right angled triangle. Let's put the symbol as a right angled triangle just to make it easier for you. That is the same as, so we'll call this side little a and this side little b, is a times b over 2. So we've got that formula here. Okay, how are we going to work out the angle, the side A? So we know this angle is 0.798, so using SOHCAHTOA, we've got cosine of 0.798. So cosine of 0.798 and so on, times the hypotenuse, which is 5. So we put the 5 out front, and then we can add on top our other angle, which we've got here, which is side B. So sorry, we multiply it by sine 5 times sine 0.798, again, because that's our angle, I'm using SOHCAHTOA, which is the opposite, 0.798. And then divide all that by 2, or just multiply by a half, which is the equivalent. Plug that into our calculator, and we get 6.247. So that is 6.247. So now all we've got to do is add up all these areas now to give us our total area. So 6.247 plus 17.5, and then the last one, 15.177, Type all them into here, and then we get 38.92. And that is in centimetres squared. So just write that up in here, 38.92 centimetres squared. That's that one. That's the angle in radians, and that's the area of BDE. There we go.